All of us have a story in this room, right? All of our stories are a collective story. My story's unique, but so is yours. My story was in 1986, and my entire family was shot by my grandfather. Both my parents were murdered. There was a statewide manhunt trying to find my grandfather. The transformation that I want to talk about this morning is that our darkest hours, our biggest failures, are the opportunity for the greatest things in our lives. I can stand up to you guys this morning and say, you know what? It's been the most transformational thing in my life. But it didn't start out that way. It was about 10 years of massive bitterness, brokenness, drugs, alcohol. I didn't read a book from 5th grade on. I didn't read a book. I got through high school. I'm running a company here in Meridian Township. Come to us. We're really, really good at what we do because, but I don't have any education as far as formal education. Like, it's amazing. Is there another country that you can do this in where you can like go from like a high school education that like they gave me the diploma because they didn't want me to come back for one more year, So it's like, he's close enough, push him through. But I have educated myself. At 20 years old, I had an encounter. You call it what you want, divine encounter, spiritual encounter, a God encounter, whatever you want to call it. But what happened that night was transformational, and it led to me forgiving my grandfather. I don't even know how to tell you how to do that, but it just basically meant that I accepted what happened, and I was ready to move on. And the flood of joy, the flood of peace, the flood of who I am, because I was that way before all that happened, and I was in search of trying to figure out what is my life purpose. And from that night on, I knew that there was something more for my life. It was a big battle. I tried committing suicide at 20 years old. This was like a month later. And man, I experienced such a deep level of love and peace and joy that like, I just wanted to tell the world, like, hey, don't give up. So I've been to Africa, I've been to Mexico, I've been all over the place speaking and sharing my story that I've been able to share and connect with people that have lost or gone through pain. Any of us in this room that have lost or gone through pain, like you know what it's like to be in that darkest time. Without the darkest time, you don't know what love feels like. So I got married, had this encounter, working at Home Depot, making $10 an hour, met my wife, she's a Michigan State med student, and 4 years of debt, and then all of her college debt, and we were banking on her being a doctor. I was like, man, my wife's gonna be a doctor. I'm gonna share my story. I don't know, maybe I'll write a book. Who wrote a book? Somebody just wrote a book this morning. Write a book, but I just want to share and help people. I want to help people that are down and out. So that was my vision. Like, I'm gonna be sharing my story around the world, and I'm gonna be doing all these things. And we found out we were pregnant. I mean, we had no idea. We got married and we got pregnant. We're like, what the? I learned how this happens, and this shouldn't have happened. Shouldn't have happened, but it did. It did. So I accepted reality. And so what I did is I stayed up late one night, kind of sweating, figuring out how am I gonna raise this little child coming in. I'm making $10 an hour. And my wife came home from med school after the end of her second year, and she's like, I really feel like God's calling us to have a family, which means that I'm gonna stop going to med school. I'm like, holy shit. What? Sweating. I'm sweating. What am I gonna do? All of my plans, and you guys know how that is, right? We have plans. We have a plan. You have a plan of where you're supposed to go. We are all business owners in here. We're salespeople. Like, we look out at the horizon, we're like, we're gonna shoot for that. But then you gotta get back into the now. You gotta live in the moment. And so that night I watched this thing, Carlton Sheets. Anybody know who Carlton Sheets is? If anybody raises their hand in this room. Ah, man. How to buy a house is no money down. So I told my wife, I'm gonna go buy some houses. We're gonna make a whole bunch of money, and I'm gonna be able to pay off all our debts, because we were about $200,000, $250,000 in debt, and she was gonna stay at home with the kid, and I was gonna do that. I was like, this ain't gonna work. The math doesn't work. We're gonna have to sell our house. So I went and bought 4 more houses, no money down. Back in those days, you could get no money loans, and so I just went out, and that was the beginning of my entrepreneurial seizure. And I own these 4 houses, and that was the beginning of the journey. And ended up building dorm room lofts out at Michigan State. I built a company with my first partner, and then from there, Custom Built was formed in 2004 and was building decks and doing a lot of finished basements. Today, so here we are today, and I have amazing team here with me today. But Custom Built, we're about 40 people as a company. We hired, I think, 18 people last year as a company. I started with this huge vision, be nationwide, all these things were gonna happen, and I'm $1 million in, barely making it. Made it through the crash, like seriously, like 2017, I hired a consultant, put in EOS into our company, and started creating a vision. What's the vision? Impacting families. What's our core values? So these are the things that transform companies. Does your company know what your core values are? Are they tied to the vision? Does the vision go back to something? Mine's impacting families. What I thought I was gonna do when I had that vision 28 years ago, I'm doing it. We're doing it. We're in homes every day. Sarah's doing it. We transform homes. We're the greatest industry. You want to send somebody to the greatest industry? Send them to the home building industry. Want to send your kids to the greatest college ever? Send them to the College of Trade School. It's the greatest industry you could ever be a part of. Guys, we transform homes. My home was the place of my greatest memories, and it was the place of my biggest tragedy, right? The home, man, it's the heart. The heart of the home is the kitchen. That's the transformation. What's your vision? Do you guys have a vision for your company? What are you doing to tell your people what your vision is? Your people know what your remarkable principles are. Anybody know what remarkable principles are? Come on, team. Like, you guys put your hands up. Greg? Anybody else? Remarkable principles. What do people remark after you're gone? Mark, what do they say about your crew after they're gone? That night when they're sitting at dinner, they're like, man, these people came and cleaned up all my stuff, and I'm so happy. And boy, they were just so courteous. I'm glad we fed their guys. Like that's so your remarkable principles. What are they? For us, it's professional experience. For us, it's creative solutions. And what's the last one? Trusted guide. Trusted guide. And let's see if my team was awake. All right. So putting your vision in place, what is your mission? What do you want to do? What's your 10-year target? I don't spend much time thinking about the 10-year target, but like, what is it? For me, it's the ranch. For us, it's a place of transformation that will happen for young people that have gone through loss or pain. We're really connected with Ellie's place. There's a lot of children that, man, they're suffering. They're suffering because they've had such deep loss and they don't know how to process it. We want to help them process it. And at the ranch, it's going to be a place where we teach kids how to use tools and use hunt and arts and singing. But mostly, it's going to be the dinner table, man. It's going to be 5-star meal for kids that didn't get that because that's what kept me going as a little kid. That's what kept me going, kept me from committing suicide many times after many times of a hope and a dream that someday I could have a family, a hope and a dream that I could restore what was done. And we're doing it. We're doing it here in Meridian Township, and we're going to continue to do it. So my team is the most important part of this vision. We can have a vision, we can have this, but do I know what Jacob wants? Do I know what Jacob's passions and gifts are? Do I invest my time in Jacob? And I'm developing other leaders in the company to be able to do that. So as leaders, as entrepreneurs, our job is to pour into the people and raise up other people and figure out what their dreams are. We'll wrap up here, but I believe the transformation and coming together of people of different faiths, people of different beliefs, people of different backgrounds, people of different political spectrums starts with me. Do I own my stuff? Do I love my neighbor the way they want to be loved? You've heard of the golden rule. The golden rule is to love your neighbor as yourself, right? How about love your neighbor as they want to be loved? We start doing that. We are transforming. Meridian Township is transforming our community because we're becoming a people that looks to our neighbor and figures out how to love them. And so with your people, you want to transform your business, we have to go after loving our people. And so thanks for letting me come share this morning a little bit about Custom Built and our vision to transform this community and the lives of people and families. So thank you.